Surprise pod.
Week 20. We're here. It's Tuesday. We're not quite at the playoffs yet, but JD and I said, "Fuck it, let's do this."
Last
So
one of the 2023 regular season, and it's going to feature 2/3 of your commissioners.
Yeah, we didn't even ask
Adam, he's too busy with his matchup against Shaq. He's like the only one who actually has something to play for this week. We didn't want to bother him with this.
It's okay. I think he'll forgive us.
JD. We have
A lot to dive into. Our viewers should know, or viewers and listeners, we didn't prep anything for this. I don't really have an agenda for what we're going to talk about, but it's been a while since there's been a podcast. So there's a lot we can kind of cover here. Maybe JD, let's do something we don't normally do.
Okay.
Let's start with you.
Oh God.
Sometimes we like to highlight like some of the more obscure teams, like the ones that are not run by commissioners or Bean.
Yeah. And sometimes Bean does go on tangents on his team that I don't think some of this league really cares to listen for. No disrespect, Bean.
yeah.
So let's just jump right into the fun stuff, and let me ask you, how does it feel that you are on the cusp of an undefeated season?
You're trying to jinx me, and I just really don't like it. I mean, it's never happened before in FTN. It would be great, although our aspirations are higher than a regular season of 20 weeks that has 0 losses so far. Laffy will be giving me the challenge the rest of the week here. But, I mean, I guess it feels great. I care about winning the championship mainly, so.
Of course. It looked
Like the streak may have been in jeopardy last week, and then Tony Gonsolin happened, and that dream went out the window for Dave.
It was in a group chat between us two and Adam. Adam did comment that it was very interesting that David pursued the strategy of not just securing his ratios of ERA and WHIP, but decided to actually outpitch me. His strategy did not work.
He tried
to outpitch you.
He tried to outpitch.
It arguably is going to cost him a playoff spot. If he takes 2 extra categories from you because he doesn't blow it, then he might have a chance this week in the wild card chase.
Unfortunately, it's not meant to be.
It's not going to happen for him. Your conference playoffs are secured.
Yes.
It's going to be you as the 1 seed with the bye week, as is tradition in non-COVID seasons. And then we will have a first-round matchup of Joe versus Vinny. I believe Joe is the first
repeat division winner from the New York division. So
congrats to him.
You are correct.
Congrats to him
for a sustained 2 seasons of success. Honestly, his team's gotten better as the year's gone on. And it looks like it's going to be stronger next year. I was hoping he might finish for 500. You kind of destroyed that dream 2 weeks ago, JD. But look, Joe should be proud of this season. He's fought back. And honestly, though, Joe, this is week 20. It's good that he secured his spot because he's got much bigger things on his mind right now. He just got engaged. So congrats to you, Joe. Hope you're listening to this podcast. But if not, everyone, spam him in the group text until he sees it. At L, that's his handle. At L, congrats on the engagement. I'm sure he and Patricia are very happy, and we obviously wish the best for him.
Congratulations to Joe. Please celebrate, but celebrate quickly because you do have to turn around and play Vinny next week.
Either of them. Well, let's start with that then. Who do you think wins a week 20 matchup between Joe and Vinny? Who's got the advantage here?
Well, regular season, they've played twice this year, and Vinny won 6-4 the first time and 6-4 the second time. So very close. I think advantage leans towards Vinny once again. But anything can happen here. Both teams are going to be finishing under 500 as well. Although very similar records. I think I will go with my division mate Vinny there with the slight advantage.
Yeah, and so
This will be this will actually be the same as last year's wild card matchup in your conference, which Joe actually
Smoked
took
Vinny.
from Vinny. He smoked Vinny 8-2.
Smoked Vinny.
This is a fun one, and I know probably not a single person, including themselves, believe that they have even a remote chance against you in the semifinals, but
you just never know.
You just never know. We've seen upsets happen this year. Anything can happen.
I mean, my team is getting injured at the worst time. I just had 2 players go on IL today. And so you just need a really good 7 days. That's all you need.
Do you have a full
offense right now?
I do not have a full offense. No, I have been playing the last probably week and a half without a second baseman.
Looks like Albies
is back on Friday. So before the playoffs start next week, he should be back. Josh Young out for season. Jarren Duran went on IL. He was probably droppable. But JD Martinez also here on IL.
And he's gone 2 to 3 weeks.
And I'm seeing
Jordan is day to day. He was scratched from Tuesday's lineup with a left index finger injury. He injured his finger in a door at his home on Tuesday.
Yes. I mean, this team is falling apart.
He's out here fucking around
with doors.
Doors. We're getting door injuries now.
Oh my! What a
season for injuries, man. We've had some of the craziest shit happen this year.
So yeah, we'll see. Vinny is riding off of Austin Riley, who has been absolutely incredible this year. Ryan Mountcastle was a deadline trade. He's been doing really well recently as well. Chas McCormick, and we'll talk more about like McCormick and some fun pickups for each team throughout the year. But and Vinny had a full slate of pitching today. Holy cow!
Did Bobby Miller pitch today?
Bobby Miller did pitch today, but he is. I think he's in line for an L. He allowed 4 runs.
Not a bad
whip. Looks, just some bad cluster luck. It looks like led to a slightly below average result. Not too bad. Josiah Gray got back on track. He did walk 5. Bryce Elder doing his thing. Not allowing a lot of runs, but not getting a lot of Ks. Probably going to get a win because it's, against the Mets. Vinny's pitching is interesting. Look, I think Joe has got the game plan. If it's Joe against you, JD, he has to cheese ERA and WHIP. And I don't know. I've not seen him ever pursue that strategy. I don't know if he's even aware of that strategy being legitimate. I don't know how much attention he's been paying, but I think if he wants a chance, he's got to do that. Vinny, on the other hand, I think Vinny has enough deep pitching that he could challenge you if he wants to do the volume pitching strategy. He's got to start prepping now. Vinny, this is the league's collective ode to you right now. I'm telling you early in the week. You want to beat JD next week and you want to do it like matching him pitching wise, go pick those guys up now. Your week 20 doesn't matter. JD's doesn't either. Go beat him to the punch. Get some starters that have good matchups next week. Come on, let's go do it.
Vinny also took ahead of of Joe. He has to beat Joe
Oh, that's
first.
true.
Yeah, you're right. All right, never mind. Damn.
All right, disregard it.
Everything I said. I feel like an idiot right now.
You're
I've
okay.
lost so much credibility in this league over the last year. I picked myself to win the league. That was horrible. People were pissed at me about the Gonsolin trade. That was horrible. Dude, I don't think people are happy with me, and I'm not here to like bemoan myself, but to all of you guys out there, I guess I probably owe most of the league an apology, for just general dickishness. So kind of sorry about all that, guys. I will not be picking myself to win the championship next year. I've been humbled.
This seems like targeted especially at one person with a 4-letter first name in your conference.
Yeah,
We're gonna get to my conference in a second. We're gonna get there in just a second. Is there anything else you want to add about your conference? And yeah, let's just continue with the playoff preview, and we can kind of get into some other topics after that. But anything else you want to add here, JD?
Not much really else to say in my conference. I would like to point out, I do remember us hyping up Laffy at one point. I believe it was like late May, early June, in regards to his win streak. Since then, it seems like we jinxed him. He won 4 consecutive in May. It's like against Joe, Ben, David, and Perry. Since then, LL tie, LLL, LL win, L. And in that stretch was 2 0-10 matchups and 4 1-9 matchups. I mean, Laffy fell apart after we were hyping him up for what was arguably the hottest month in May.
Do you know what's interesting?
Both Joe and Laffy have separate 4-game win streaks this year. Sean does not have a single 4-game win streak this year.
That's a crazy stat.
Oh man.
And does Jack? I'm sure Jack does.
I'm sure Jack
Does.
Um,
We should highlight that Ben. You know Ben's gonna get pissed if he listens to this and we don't talk about him for just 1 second. So
Sure.
Ben, here's your
give
shout out.
Ben-
Shout out to Ben for winning his second matchup of the season, first one since mid-April last week, beating playoff clincher Joe 6-4.
I mean, this league would not be Ben if we would not get the occasional Jake Berger, CJ Abrams, Nolan Jones hype on a Monday afternoon with claims that he would be sweeping his opponent. So we appreciate Ben for being a member of this league and providing the energy that he does. His team management, on the other hand, I am not going to comment. That is not going to be allowed to be aired.
let's cover.
Vinny made the playoffs. Ben is not. So Vinny's finishing up ahead of Bean in the standings. If I recall, Bean had to change his team name this year to I Am Rebuilding This Garbage because he finished behind Vinny last year. Do they have another bet this year? Does Vinny get to name Ben's team again?
I do not know off the top of my head. I am praying. I'm falling to my knees that Vinny does get to rename his team name again.
Yeah.
Ben's embarrassed himself this year, or he arguably has embarrassed himself more than I have. I would think. I'm just saying this like objectively. His Monday morning stuff is honestly the greatest thing. I guess it's Monday night stuff. His Monday night stuff is maybe one of the greatest things this league has. It keeps me going, man. I look forward to Bean taking an early 5-1 lead, and then like he just blows the whole thing by honestly as early as like a Wednesday or Thursday. It gives me life.
I have an honest question for you. Do you have Ben's team pulled up?
I can. Yeah. What's up?
if you look at his batters, who out of his batters would be rostered on like the quote unquote elite teams in this league? So like teams like Jack, Adam, Sean, myself, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I think Keibert Ruiz is a decent catcher option for any team. I would seriously consider rostering him as a championship level team.
Spencer Steer for sure.
I think Adam regrets.
CJ Abrams. I think anyone would like to roster CJ Abrams right now.
Adam has CJ Abrams at home. Esteury Ruiz.
No.
CJ Abrams is better. Spencer Steer, yes, completely agree. CJ Abrams, maybe Keibert.
Encarnacion
I think Lane
Strand.
Thomas. I think Lane Thomas is absolutely being started by any championship team. I hate to say it, but I think he is. Just even if it's just this season, he might be
He's a
like
2015 guy. I mean, that's pretty solid.
He might
be like waiver wire fodder like by midsummer, but that might be it. I know Adam explored Jack Suwinski, but his price was exorbitant. It was one Yuri Perez for those of us keeping track at home. I'm not going to talk about the IL guys, so let's call it 3.5 maybe. I mean, I think if you guys had the rights to Sal Frelick, you're probably having him maybe on your roster. So we'll be generous. We'll say 4. Ben has 4 offensive pieces that constitute a championship level team.
He's going to have a lot of moves here to improve that.
I think a lot of
Those guys are young. I do like the development for some of them. So I don't think it's awful. I think he had a lot of progress this year. I think he has more pieces going into this offseason than he had going into this past offseason. He's going to get Pasquantino back from IL. Gavin Lux is going to be an everyday shortstop for one of the 3 best offenses in baseball. Like, I think he's going to have a league average offense sooner rather than later. Put it this way. You give me you tell me right now, I can have Max's offense going forward, or I can have Ben's offense going forward. I'm taking Ben's every day.
I will be the proponent. I would take Max's.
No shot.
That's fair.
No shot. Let's talk about
Max. How's he going to feel about this season? Let's switch gears to Conference 1.
The question is, does Max make the playoffs if he doesn't sell? Or does Max make the playoffs if he doesn't sell?
Did he do all
that much selling?
Goldschmidt, I don't know how Goldschmidt's been doing since Max sold him. And then, that's honestly it. Kenley Jansen, Zach Wheeler, he didn't sell that much.
The problem
is theoretically in a vacuum, yes, but our trade deadline came so late and Max's sell-off trades were done so late that I don't know if it made a difference, because he could have traded for your entire team last week and added it to his own team, and he still would have lost to Jack.
Yeah,
There's not a single soul on earth who was beating Jack last week or taking any more categories than Max took.
He kind of lost it during the last few weeks. 3-6-1 lost to Adam, 3-7 lost to me, 2-8 lost to Joe, 2-8 lost to Jack, 1-9 lost to Adam. I mean, from that mid-June to mid-August stretch, so like 2 months, he just kind of faltered for a bit, and you just can't do that.
Sorry,
I thought Max played Jack last week.
No, he played Jack a couple weeks ago.
Sean.
He played you last week.
Okay. Then let me rephrase
Here's my answer. This is the second time I've embarrassed myself in the last 5 minutes for getting something horribly wrong. Okay, Max played me. He beat me 6-3-1. Week 18, he played.
Oh, he got destroyed
by Adam 9-1. And Adam's team went completely off. 7 wins, 7 save holds, so great on the counting stats. a 3.36 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, a 3.69 OBP, double-digit stolen bases. Did he have the most home runs that week? I think he may have had the most home runs that week. 54 RBI, 48 runs. Yeah, doesn't matter. Paul Goldschmidt's not going to make the difference. I think the question, JD, shouldn't maybe be, would Max make the playoffs if he had sold in week 18? I think the question should be more,
Does Max make
the playoffs or have more of a chance at the playoffs if he bought as aggressively as Sean, as early as Sean did? Because Sean was buying aggressively week 13, week 14. So
Yeah.
if Max matches Sean's upgrades
like
That's
week 12?
That's a
of
better
week
question.
13, does Max make it? Well, what do you think?
Sean made some really key pickups. I don't know if Max would have had the ability to make comparable pickups.
He didn't have anything to
Offer.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Unless he wanted to offload his farm guys, which if I'm Max, I would not have offloaded his key farm guys.
He could have sold Dylan Cruz.
And he could have been the one to acquire Mike Trout.
I don't even know if that
Would
would
have gotten the deal done. It probably would have had to been Roki Sasaki and
Dylan Cruz.
Is he pairing Cruz and Sasaki for like Mookie Betts instead of Sean's package? I don't think Max would do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
interesting. I think actually Max would have been more. I think he may have actually not from Mike Trout, but when you say Mookie, I forgot Sean made that acquisition.
Yeah.
For Mookie, are you trading Dylan Cruz? If you're Max and you're pretty much tied with Sean, week 12, 60% of the way through the season, knowing you're fighting for your life for a wild card because you're not catching Adam and Jack's gonna take the division, whatever, right? You're basically in a wild card chase. You're tied with the other wild card team.
Do you sell Dylan Cruz?
Cruz, who you think is going to be the number one pick at that point in time, and Roki Sasaki for Mookie Betts when you have Max's roster and his timeline?
I mean, it's an aggressive move that would make sense.
Maybe you have to frame it in the
Context of Max can't compete next year, right? He's sold. He's not competing next year. If Max had made that trade and traded Cruz and Sasaki for Mookie Betts, let's say he did miss the playoffs this year, and let's say he missed it. He's going to miss the playoffs probably by 5, 6, 7 games to Sean. If he missed it by 3 games or 2 games to Sean instead because he made that Mookie Betts acquisition, does Max go into 2024 thinking he's like himself? Does he think he's a contender?
With Mookie, I think he would think he's a contender.
You know how hard
Max was carried by Jorge Mateo at the beginning of the season?
Max's window, I hate to say it, but it might have just closed.
I think it did.
But I think the point I'm trying to make is his window didn't necessarily close by him selling, and it wouldn't have necessarily stayed open by acquiring Mookie Betts. I think his window closed when Jorge Mateo stopped being the Jorge Mateo of March and April.
Yeah, that and a combination of him running into some juggernauts in Jack and Adam at inconvenient times.
Yeah, when his team went totally
cold.
And he can't.
But the thing is his team was never going to stay that hot. And if his team is cold and he's getting demolished like that,
yeah,
you're just not really
a contender anymore.
Right. I mean, this is a team that is rostering Alek Manoah.
Is he still?
Yes. And for those of you at home, Alek Manoah has not thrown a ball in like 12 days. The Blue Jays are not even having him throw.
Yeah, they demoted him to AAA, and they're not even having him throw. So
they're gonna redevelop
him as a designated hitter. There you go. Hot take. Max, good season, but it's finally come time for you to, I think
about your future.
I don't think Max necessarily thought this league was going to get 5 years into it and into a year 6, which we'll be going into next year. But I think he's seen the writing on the wall that this league has staying power, and he's committed to building a farm. He no longer has the smallest farm in the league, and he has all of his future BAM, with the exception of inheriting the liability pursuant to the Whit Merrifield deal that I owed Adam on this complicated prospect deal. Other than that, he has all his future BAM. And he has Dylan Cruz and Roki Sasaki, and some other guys too. So future is bright for Max.
I mean, the question
is, does he sell more? Does he sell more this offseason? Because there's certainly some pieces that are still there. Like, I'm pretty sure Justin Turner is still on this roster. Why is Justin Turner still here?
I was actually trying to acquire Justin Turner at the trade deadline. However, we could not reach an agreement.
How was the agreement not
5 BAM? Did you offer at least 5 BAM?
The agreement was Edwin Arroyo was part of the package. It was essentially the Yu Darvish package, but like take away 2 of those prospects. It was like Edwin Arroyo. The other Reds guy I sent Vinny. Did I send Vinny another Reds guy? I can't even remember. It was like Arroyo and like one of Ben Brown and Nick Nastrini, and then I think the other Reds guy, which I still have.
Might retire this offseason.
Yeah, Victor Acosta was who I'm thinking of. I had a hole at third base because Josh Young was just put on IL, and I did not anticipate having Curtis Mead, Mason Wynn, Noelvi Marte being called up. So I was just kind of like panic trying to buy Turner. We could not reach an agreement. And so that is why I made a Yu Darvish trade instead with Vinny with some of the pieces I would have offered.
I know Max sold, but it almost felt
a little underwhelming because he could have sold so much more. And the fact that he didn't take that Justin Turner deal is mind-boggling.
So it was more than 5 BAM that you would have.
Whit Merrifield
could have been sold. I guarantee Whit Merrifield had a buyer at the deadline.
I think because Max just bought Whit Merrifield like a couple months ago, and Whit Merrifield does produce. So I don't know. Maybe it was.
Gosh, but he's 34, and his best
asset is speed.
That's fair. Is Yandy going to have another career year like this? Maybe.
No.
But
I'm fine with him keeping Yandy. I'm fine with him keeping anyone under 30. But I'm fine with him keeping anyone under 34. Justin Turner's like 38. Whit Merrifield's going into his age like 35 or 36 season. He probably could have sold some bullpen guys. I get he didn't want to sell them. Holding on to Dylan Cease made sense. I'm sure. I know he got some big offers for Cease. He's kind of like the White Sox there.
Oh, I also
Sonny Gray.
Cease, so
Sonny Gray
would have been the other one too. That I'm sure. Sonny Gray seems like the perfect fit for Jack. Why there wasn't a Sonny Gray moved for like probably not. You probably wouldn't have done it for Colson Montgomery. But what if you packaged, like you probably could have packaged Whit Merrifield and Sonny Gray and gotten Colson Montgomery from Jack, I think.
Why not flip Soroka to Perry for something? I don't know.
For the memes. That's a meme thing right there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Okay, we've talked a lot about Max. He's not making the playoffs. I know he's 9.5 games back, but it's not going to happen. I started Wainwright. I kind of just fucked Max's chances of making the playoffs with that move.
Mm-hmm. How did Waldichuk do?
I don't know, dude.
I was just focused on Waino getting his 199th win, and then I'm literally looking at the score. And I'm like, wait, why does his earned run number keep going up? Oh, he ended up with 6 earned runs. Great.
Oh no, sorry.
I knew this. I don't know why I said it. Waldichuk starts on Thursday. Grayrod
giving up a lot of
hits, but kept it to 3 earned. We're not talking about my team. My team's cooked. It's done. It's also young. We'll
be back next year.
Probably not going to make the playoffs, but will be fun nonetheless. I finished with like 8 to 9 head-to-head wins this year. Like
Hey,
it's
that's
not
solid.
too bad. It's whatever. Perry made. I don't think he made a deadline move. I think he was one of the few teams that didn't. Like one of 2 teams that did not make a trade within 48 hours of the deadline. I won't say that's super interesting. He made some moves a couple weeks leading up to the deadline, including that ginormous 4-team trade.
Yeah.
I don't want
To give away some things that he told me. I will say that he's not the biggest fan of the farm that he inherited from Ulrich. So he is trying to do some rebuilding there. He now has the resources to do it.
He's been spending some BAM. He's got what 6 pickups for BAM since the infusion happened. So I mean, he's been proactive, and obviously the 4-team trade. So yeah, I mean, he's not a fan of the farm, which is fine. It's not his farm; it was Ryan's farm, but now he has to adapt to it and figure out the right pieces going forward.
He did trade,
which was interesting. He did trade. Let's talk about this trade because I don't think anyone ever really talked about this one. This one kind of flew under the radar. So he traded Gunnar Hoglund, Braden Montgomery, Chandler Simpson, Greg Jones, and Tin Bam DeBen for Tommy Edman, Jeremy Pena, and some stipulation. And I guess the reason I bring it up is because
Braden Montgomery
might be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. And so
Yep, maybe.
And so Perry just traded potentially the
number 1 pick in the draft. And I know it's a weaker draft than this year, but Braden Montgomery will probably debut at 35, 40 on the MLB Top 100. Chandler Simpson is probably going to be a Top 100 prospect at one time or at some time. So
I don't know.
Interesting trade to get Tommy Edman. I don't know why. But let's
two assets that are proven. We know what they are, I guess. Maybe he sees Jeremy Pena's kind of had a regression of a year, but maybe he sees some type of value where he could flip Edman and or Pena down the line for something.
You know what?
I refute that statement that Jeremy Pena had a down year. I think honestly he's had a slight improvement from last year. It's just a downgrade from his otherworldly ALCS. But in a short sample, like small sample size, short series, like in the playoffs, anyone can get hot, right? So, Look, I think Jeremy Pena is fine. The Astros aren't doing anything at that position other than going into next year with Pena penciled in as their shortstop. Look, he's going to give you 20 stolen bases, maybe 20 home runs, and a 2020 player, no matter how low the OBP is fine.
Here's the thing. This year he's a 10-10 player. Exactly.
No.
10 home runs.
He's at exactly 10-10.
He's exactly 10 home runs and exactly 10 stolen bases this year.
Has he been injured?
I don't recall. And if he was, it was not long. It was like not a long term.
No, he's had 440 at bats. He's put up a 2.2 WAR season.
I think his OBP's improved. 308
OBP.
I think he's better than his stats indicate.
So his
OBP's actually improved by like 20 points from last year, which is good.
And 80 less plate appearances, he has 9 more walks. So he's probably
going to finish with.
I mean, he might finish.
If he goes on a little bit of a walk spree, he might finish with 2 times as many walks as last year.
He's kind of striking
out at the same rate. His OPS plus is lower. He's not been efficient on the base paths. 10 stolen bases, 7 caught stealing. So that's kind of been like, I think, his bugaboo this year.
There you go. The whole the shift change might have fucked up with them.
It's a fine piece, but I kind of want to let's talk about this real quick because I think this is a fascinating topic, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Cardinals fan. I want to talk about the Cardinals. It's just I had an interesting conversation with Ben about what he's doing with Brendan Donovan earlier today, and so when we look at the Cardinals lineup going into next year, and this is in regards to Tommy Edman now for Perry, how do you do their lineup 1 through 9? Let me give you the pieces, right? So you got very likely at the top of the order, you have Lars Nootbaar. They've
Newt.
established that they want him to be the number one leadoff guy, Newt. At second, they've been batting Paul Goldschmidt this year. Let's just pencil in Paul Goldschmidt again at 2. Let's do Arenado at 3. And that seems pretty well set. That means at 4, they've been going Nolan Gorman kind of at DH at 4. So let's say Nolan Gorman's 5. Let's say Wilson Contreras is going to be – sorry, I just said Nolan Gorman 4. Probably Wilson Contreras 5. 6, you're probably batting – recent top 5 prospect Jordan Walker, who's had a decent offensive season. You're probably batting at 7 Tyler O'Neill. And so does that mean at 8 and 9 is some sort of timeshare between Mason Wynn, Tommy Edman, and Brendan Donovan? And if that's the case, those are 3 guys who, when they're batting at the top of the order, are like borderline top 10 fantasy producers. But like when they're at the bottom of the Cardinals lineup, they might not even be rosterable. What are your thoughts on Donovan, Edman, and Mason Wynn?
Jack might be the best person to talk about with this. You reading off all of that, I think, is Tommy Edman expendable? Like, could you just trade him in the offseason for some controllable pitching guy instead?
I feel like Donovan would be the one to go before Edman, but I don't really know. But I'm with you that one of those guys seems expendable for pitching this offseason.
One of Edman, Donovan, who am I missing? Alec Burleson.
Oh, Burleson.
I'm not even factoring him in.
Dylan Carlson. They have a large amount of outfielders and not enough room.
But with Wynn in the equation, now also infielders. And we had that before too, and we traded Paul DeJong. So it's like there doesn't seem to be an opportunity with Mason Wynn now in the picture. There doesn't seem to be like
a place at the
top of the lineup for Brendan Donovan, Tommy Edman,
and or Mason Wynn.
And it's just
someone's being traded.
Even if someone's
gone. Lars is number 1, and Goldie's 2, Arenado's 3. And they've been doing Gorman at 4. But if it's not Gorman, maybe they bat Wilson Contreras at 4 or Jordan Walker. The point is, your top and middle parts of the lineup are pretty set. There's just no place for Donovan, Edman, Wynn. So how much value do those guys have? Top of the lineup, borderline top 10 fantasy producers. Bottom of the lineup, borderline droppable.
Yeah. And we'll see how Mason Wynn is. Slow start so far, but he's played less than a handful of games.
You've been doing that dance
for a couple of weeks with these prospects. First it was Curtis Mead.
Yep.
Now it's like Mason Wynn. This is what happens when you're JD and you have such a lead. You can just fuck around and have fun.
I'm the Ben approach of just picking up prospects here and there that are mine, seeing how they fit in. It's interesting. It's just obviously with the new rules, the J-Rod compensation of rookie of the year, teams are more inclined to call up these guys just to kind of stick around, see what they have the rest of this year, heading into next year. So,
what do you
think of Etienne having some sort of incentive for like rookie of the year? Like if one of your prospects wins rookie of the year, or should we do like the league votes on the rookie of the year?
Oh yeah, we could do that.
You get like
incentive award, like 20 BAM bounty.
Yeah, incentive could be like a BAM reward. That would be fun.
I think it would be
interesting if it was based on actual FTN stats. Like if your player performs well in real life, but you don't call the player up, and he doesn't and you're not putting him into your lineup, so you don't get those stats. Like, who cares, right? But if you're like out there and you're starting like a Tanner Bybee every week type of deal, and he's performing and helping you win.
Maybe we could do something like 10 BAM on the actual rookie of the year, and then an additional 10 BAM on whoever votes, or like the voted rookie of the year by FTN. So I don't know, for example, Corbin Carroll wins 10 BAM, but like the league votes for someone like James Outman, then separate that. Or if the league votes for Corbin, you would get your full 20.
It's interesting because
If you're having the rookie of the year on your team, you're already kind of getting rewarded for that good performance, and to get even extra rewarded,
or like
But like that's MLB
it's kind of
basically.
crazy. It is MLB, but
J-Rod rewarded the Mariners with great play, and so MLB rewarded the Mariners with an additional pick.
what if it was an
a
extra?
Bamchise tag, like a free one.
Yeah, that could. We'll talk about this later. This is an interesting off-season topic.
We have
This past off season was the slowest, least impactful off season of changes that we've had. Just some minor like restrictions put in place as far as like which prospects you could bid on. I think we're gonna have some more changes upcoming this off season. So
we got a lot to talk.
talk about when that happens.
People want that R word. I will not reiterate it, but
Harry does not.
Perry
does
finishing
not want
80. Perry finishing 80 games out does not want the R word.
he wants to come back and take that division. I love it.
Let's
Touch on the playoff teams from Conference 1. Since we started the podcast with that, let's, we're 40 minutes in. Let's talk about the other conference and the playoffs now. So to set the stage,
Jack and
Adam are playing this week. The number 1 seed and the all-important bye week
On the
line. Adam has to post a 7-3 win, and even then it's subject to head-to-head. So Adam needs a big win, I think, to take it from Jack.
And then Sean's locked
Into the wild card.
Yep.
So we're going to see Sean versus either Adam or Jack,
likely Adam.
and then the winner of that will face Jack. Was last year's 1 seeds also you and Jack? I think they
Yes.
were.
Last year's 1 seeds were indeed me and Jack.
So I guess where does this matchup stand today?
Between Jack and Adam. Does Adam have a chance?
Jack currently leads 5-2-3. Adam has a chance, but Jack is going to take the 1 seed.
I forgot.
Cal Raleigh, big dumper, just went off last night.
Jack is going to take the 1 seed, and I will stand by that statement.
Okay, so we're
Feel
gonna
free to
get
Jack
flame
won.
if I'm wrong.
We're going to get Jack 1
and so we're gonna
to see
Adam versus Sean.
Sean.
One who believes in Zach Geloff and one who does not believe in Zach Geloff. And I did get a text from a league member last night regarding Zach Geloff. Is Zach Geloff a league winner? What do we think, Drew?
Is that Gal?
Off is playing like this. I think he is a league winner.
I am also rostering Zach Geloff in Conway's league. I hope
Zach Geloff is going to personally cost me 2 separate head-to-head victories over Sean this season.
And what's crazy is Sean indirectly did mention that Zach Geloff is a Bamchise tag candidate here before the season ends.
That is interesting.
What's also interesting is that Sean has kind of played this drop song and dance game with Geloff, but I think it's because he hasn't fully believed in Geloff. I don't think anyone did. He's like an A's prospect. He believes in A's prospects, but he's just kept producing. So I'm pretty sure this is like his 3rd stint on Sean's roster. Yeah.
Sorry, we keep saying Zach Geloff. Correction, it's Virginia's own Zach Geloff. Near and dear to Sean's heart for sure.
Oh my god.
We have to believe in him at this point. You can't ignore it any longer.
He's a producer, and that's what matters in fantasy.
So Sean posted
Posted 2 head-to-head wins over Adam. He had one in the third week of the season, mid-April, 6-4 victory over Adam. Sean was very into his novel pitching strategy at that point, right? He hadn't gone and changed things around. He took ERA. He did not take ERA and whip. He took save holds. Adam had the best pitching week maybe this league's ever seen, posted a 1.65 ERA and a .75 whip. That is incredible. With 6 wins and 64 strikeouts. But Sean swept him in offense. Fast forward to mid-July, coming right out of the All-Star break, Sean takes another victory over Adam, this time an even bigger margin, 7-3, taking that ERA, taking that whip, but this time losing the save holds. If you remember, Adam went and acquired Alexis Diaz. He got that firepower now and that bullpen, and Sean's gone a little bit away from that strategy at the trade deadline. It's a more balanced pitching staff now, so
He's streaming pitching at this point in time.
pitching. We've talked about it a little bit. Maybe let's not rehash Sean's deadline, but who the heck has the upper hand in this matchup and in the playoffs?
The heart says Adam, but the brain says Sean.
What's your prediction?
Adam 6'4". Is that a prediction or what I want? Both, yes.
Sean has Mike Trout.
Back. He's back tonight.
Sean does have Mike Trout back. I mean, that is about as big of a pickup as you can ask for at this point in time.
I thought Adam's
Playoff preview.
was fascinating.
Not his playoff preview. His Jack versus Sean Week 19 matchup was fascinating. I think he nailed it, by the way. I think in the playoffs,
Oh man, I mean,
without looking at the pitching matchups and everything, I'm just, a little bit of
Yeah.
a blind guess right now. I'm going to go Adam takes it
7-3. Sean wins ERA. Sean wins WHIP. Sean wins OBP. Does not take stolen bases.
does not take save holds, does not take
Runs, home runs,
runs.
or RBIs.
I think runs are very close, though. I think runs are very close. I think Adam blows them out in the other offensive categories other than OBP. That's my prediction.
I love for a certain Adam team since this league has started is very well known.
Your guys'
Commissioner love affair is dangerous.
I don't know if Adam reciprocates. But I do. I really want Adam to succeed here.
I'm on record.
Of having never liked your team in the past, JD, and ironically, this is the first season I do like your team. I'm gonna laugh if you
Flop before the finals.
There's a very big chance I do flop.
big chance. There's a small, remote chance that
Vinny would have to have
have the best. Not just he doesn't have to have an A+ performance from his team as a whole. He needs an A+ manager performance, and I don't think we've ever seen an A+ manager performance out of anyone who lives in the state of New York in this league.
Damn, that's a personal attack right there.
I calling it as
I see it. I don't think I'm saying anything that's necessarily too controversial right there.
The only imminent reinforcement for Adam really is Jordan Westberg, who does graduate, by the way, this week. So please make a decision, Adam. That's a reminder here.
So we both think
Adam's going to win. But who has the better chance against Jack? Let's pretend we don't know who wins Sean versus Adam, and we don't. But who has the best chance against Jack?
because we just
Saw Sean get obliterated.
Was it a fluke, though?
Was it? Look,
I'm going to continue to preach it. Did Jack peak too early? Is he peaking too early?
No.
No.
Oh my
I don't
God.
I don't think he's peaked yet.
I don't think you know what a peak is.
Because
What J-Rod
just did, setting
an MLB
record
for a hit
in 4 games.
I mean,
Peaking. That's a peak career
peak.
accomplishment for Jack's
that's peaking.
best player on his team. Second best. Fuck Matt Olson.
I think Adam has a better chance to beat Jack than Sean has a better chance.
Is that
because of offense or because of pitching?
I think because of offense. Do I want to say offense?
There's Mookie Betts and Mike Trout. So let's just recap this so Sean hears it loud and clear. Sean has a top offense. It's like top 5 offense in the league. He adds Mookie Betts. He adds Mike Trout. He gets superstar in the making Zach Geloff. And
we're saying his offense is still not the difference maker.
I think Jack outpitches Sean. Especially because Sean has steered away from the ratios.
Well, Sean can't. Are
you saying Sean can't? Look, both of Sean's wins against Adam basically was a sweep on offense. So if Sean's offense is good enough to sweep Adam twice this year,
can't Sean's
offense match up with Jack? Or are you saying no one's offense can match up with Jack's?
Well, compared to Jack, I don't think either of them can match him.
Well, I personally do.
I think they both have better offenses than Jack.
Is Sean 1-3 against Jack this year?
He might be.
I think Sean is one. I think Sean is 1-3 against Jack.
He played him 3 times
early in the season.
Sean goes
7-3, 4-5-1, 3-6-1,
2-8. So 1-3.
But one of those was practically a tie.
Adams lost 4-6 to Sean, 3-7 to Sean, but he beat Jack in that extended matchup week. And
I think they both have good. I think not good, but I think they both have chances against Jack.
They do. I think the league wants Jack to go down.
Jack, Ben is going
to say that his biggest rival and who he wants to see lose the most in the league is you. And maybe Vinny does too, but I think the overwhelming enemy in this league is Jack. No one wants to see Jack win.
I mean, Jack has more starting pitchers than anyone in this league, including me.
What makes his team
so good?
J-Rod.
Matt Olson and J-Rod.
Quality management. As I hate to admit it, but he is an elite fantasy owner.
I just look at his
team and I'm not convinced. It's Matt Olson and the J-Rod show.
Christian Walker needs more respect.
How is Christian Walker a guy that produces in fantasy?
You are a PR 15 guy.
I'm a PR 30 guy. 84 RBIs. How does that dude?
Christian Walker has a higher PR 15 than Matt Olson.
How does that dude have 25 more RBIs than Bo Bichette? He's got like 10 more than Juan Soto.
Right, I know I'm looking at my players, but like Juan Soto bats third for the Padres.
Like right behind like Xander Bogarts and Fernando Tatis and Ha-Seong Kim's there. How does Juan Soto have less RBIs than Christian Walker?
Look, man, he
Can't do it again. Christian Walker. I said it last year. He can't do it again this year. I'm gonna say it again. He can't do it again next year. I hate this guy. I hate Jack. I absolutely despise everything. I hate that his players all are some parts that are greater than like each. What's that fucking saying? It's the sum of the parts is greater than the sum of the whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm dumb. I'm tired.
I can't even think about it either.
I'm so enraged by Jack's success that I can't think.
How about Max Muncy, who's hitting below the Mendoza line, but has 29 home runs on the year?
He was literally
dropped last year because he was so bad.
I can't. I literally
can't with his team. And I'm sure. Look, we just looked up the ESPN. ESPN just published their updated prospect rankings. Haley McDaniel, Colson Montgomery, number 2 in baseball.
Fucking Jack.
Some guys have all
the luck. That's all. I just
fucking Jack, dude. Just crazy. I guess he drops Correa.
Do you remember the Rangers' fun differential season?
Like that feels like Jack.
It just feels like something that should be wholly unsustainable. But then the Mariners like won again and like made the playoffs last year, and it's like,
Jack, I don't know how
you keep doing it, man. You devil magic, fun differential, just getting players that are like.
Sacrificing virgins. Jack is witchcraft experience out here. He just keeps doing it.
It is
literally witchcraft. He has the most boring pitching staff of all time.
And none of them have elite ratios. None of them. But they all
just somehow pitch exactly well enough in every matchup. The amount of
Kirby,
the amount of matchups where Jack wins like by 1 win or by like 6 strikeouts is insane.
George Kirby and Blake Snell. Can we
go back to early May when Jack was coming off 2 ties and a loss to begin the season?
He turned it up. He's yet to peak. Infuriating.
It is so infuriating.
Oh my god. His last 5 weeks, 10-0, 9-1, 8-2, 9-1, 8-2.
He peaked. He peaked too early. No shot.
No shot he wins in the playoffs.
I'm out of things
to say. I'm just pissed off now.
Well, the only thing that would make you more mad is a Jack JD championship.
I'd only be mad if Jack
won it.
The podcast
hates Jack.
I'm putting that on
record.
The podcast hates Jack. Jesus.
He won't even buy a belt. Like, come on.
We're still waiting on that. We are still waiting on that. I mean, fuck you, Jack. Still waiting on a belt. That's enough reason. That's enough reason to be anti-Jack.
How does it feel
to be? I want to know from Jack how it feels to be public enemy number 1. He seems to embrace the pressure. As you said, his last 5 weeks are just unbelievable.
Pressure does not absorb Jack. Jack absorbs the pressure. I mean, I got to be honest. I'm scared. I'm scared if I have to play Jack.
More than Adam or Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It is quite unbelievable.
Kind of out of things to say right now on this podcast. We're an hour in. So yeah, that was, I guess, an hour of us just ranting, talking through possible playoff matchups. Is there anything else we want to talk about? There was one thing I wanted to quickly go through each team and say like some nice pickups for this year. Do we have time for that? Let's squeeze that in. Can we squeeze that in?
Go for it. JD
All right.
Solo
Segment.
Oh man, we'll squeeze this in because I do have to walk my dog here. But like going through each team, we'll start with Adam here. That's my favorite team. Adam, key pickups that are still on his team. What are we thinking here? Esteury Ruiz can win stolen bases, honestly, by himself most weeks. And Adam got him for Bam. Wander Franco. Jesus. The administrative list today, Drew.
I thought you were going to start.
I thought this was about acquisitions and prospects, and I thought you were about to start talking about Wander Franco's prospects and acquisitions.
Yeah, I was. On a scale of 1 to 10, what grade is the girl that Wander Franco is seeing?
We are definitely
Really cutting this segment out of the final video. Go on.
We'll go to Max here. Friedel has been a nice pickup.
You have him.
I had him for a bit. He went extremely cold. I dropped him,
Brag.
and Max picks him up. And Friedel has been the bright center fielder, I think, for the Reds.
Yeah, I think so.
That's about it for Max that I can see off the top of my head. Perry, let the kids play. And he's trading away some of them. Honestly, it's really quiet on Perry's end. Did you know Anthony Volpe has 17 home runs and 20 stolen bases?
And is still not a top
20 fantasy player at his position.
Yep. Jordan Walker, limited to 11 home runs, 6 stolen bases.
Sorry. Volpe is
17.
Big deal. Like,
This team is young. Perry's top 2 prospects, Volpe and Walker, both top 5. They just, obviously, year 1, but not
so many.
He's had so many people on IL too, though.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Man, I'm fucking tired. Cal Raleigh for Jack, big dumper.
Hate him.
Didn't Jack say Cal Raleigh would be a top 10 catcher in baseball?
Yeah,
He's
he did.
ahead of us.
Everything Jack says
seems to happen. So
Henry Davis is going to be a fun one for him to try and figure out going forward where he fits into his plans.
Next 5 years.
Who do you have? MJ Melendez or Henry Davis?
Henry Davis.
Go on.
Brian Wu out of the pitching factory that is the Mariners.
Briefly was in the top 100.
Yep. Sean Geloff. Is he a league winner? That is the question that the league needs answering. Please leave your comments in the group me below. And really, that's about it for Sean. And I'm
This is
Free agent pickups.
quickly glimpsing. It's free agent pickups or anyone that they picked up for Bam.
like okay. So
Okay, so
Like
so
homegrown.
prospect additions to the roster.
Yeah, homegrown guys.
or free
What
agent.
about you,
acquisition,
Michael Garcia?
Yeah, man. Glad you pointed that one
One out. He's I think been my best development of the season.
Edouard Julian, you traded for rookie, still
Mhm.
good. Grayrod, you're a Grayrod believer. Makes sense.
Yeah, another
Trade though, not
Yeah.
not really any
Still
free
Seth.
agent pitches.
Still Seth is my favorite of your free agent pickups.
no Bruce Dark Gray
Also been pretty good.
Great roll. There you go.
I like Xavier.
On Curry too.
That
no
was
You know what
Perry.
happened? I
That was
don't know
an
what
OG
happened with
Perry.
Xavier. I offered Perry like 10 bam for Curry, like during his week of graduation. Perry's like, no, I'm gonna keep Curry, and then he never tagged him and he never picked him up. So I'm like, okay, free Curry.
Free Curry. Joe, Ellie De La Cruz has definitely been the highlight of his team. Vaughn Grissom, man, what the hell happened to him?
He's back in the majors,
He's back
But
in
he's-
the majors.
but the
They
Braves.
prefer trade deadline masterpiece Nicky Lopez.
Brandon Pfaadt, who I am high on in his very young career.
He's been very good
Good.
since he got.
Called up for like his third major league stint this year.
Bam Lord Dave, I think the only one I can really say is Andrew Abbott.
100%.
But I respect
Well,
it.
you don't want to say
Tony Gonsolin.
I am not going to comment on the pitcher on IL. Laffy's been active on waivers throughout the year. So Luke Raley was a fun pickup. This was the team that also I believe used to own Brent Rooker. Wasn't he the A's All-Star Game representative? He fell off and
Yeah.
is on waivers
It's
right now.
either him or Ryan Noda. I
I can't keep them
separated.
but
Brett
yeah.
Beatty was supposed to be a key pickup. He's been disappointing as a Met.
Oh my god, dude.
All the Mets rookies. Francisco Alvarez went on a homer streak, but even on
Yeah.
Saturday, he's not even been that good.
Yeah, I think I skipped over Joe with Mark Vientos, right?
How was that a good pickup?
He's not. He's not.
He's like worth negative PR, negative player rate.
Raider 30. Negative PR 30 on him.
What about Vinny here? We're summing up last division here before I go walk the dog. Vinny's pickups. Yoshida. I keep forgetting Yoshida was like a minimum BAM bid, I think, right? Or around that. Right before the season started.
Yeah,
Chaz
great
McCormick.
Great pickup by him.
Chaz McCormick has been a great pickup too.
That's been the best.
Pickup for him because he's been a top 10 player in baseball.
Harold Ramirez.
Gross.
Good average. He's in over 300. Bobby Miller for sure. That was a Vinny. Vinny got him for 5 BAM, I think. So that Dodgers pitching rotation. What the hell is it going to look like next year?
Great question.
What, are we assuming Gonsolin's missing the season?
No.
Okay, Walker Buehler's
Bueller's back.
Yep.
Kershaw. Is he
Gonna pitch again? What's the assumption there?
One last ride. I don't know.
okay?
I
So
guess.
Kershaw,
Bueller, Lance Lynn,
Okay.
Tony Gonsolin.
Bobby Miller.
Notable Otani omission there.
Dustin May.
May will be back. 6-man rotation. I could totally see the Dodgers doing a 6-man rotation.
No
They're
room
absolutely the team to do that.
no room for Emmett Sheehan. No room for Gavin Stone.
I'm sure there'll be injuries.
Injuries. It's the Dodgers pitching.
Do we really want to talk about Bean's pickups? Essentially, everyone on his team is a pickup.
Yeah, let's Do it.
Come on. Who's Bean's best pickup of the year?
Is it
Okay.
Spencer Steer, although that was a trade from Sean.
That was a treat. Nolan Shanuel. I'll tell you, it's not. It's not
you wanna
Bryce
give-
Tucker.
It's not Bryce.
You're right. CJ Abrams not a bad pickup. You want to give him credit for Jake Berger?
I'll give him credit for Jake Berger. He wants that shout out, so shout out Jake Berger. Nolan Jones was his BAM guy.
Nolan
South-
Jones is
Been pretty good.
South Frelick BAM guy. Encarnacion Strand BAM guy. Cabrian Hayes. I'll give a shout out to Cabrian Hayes just because Ben wants to be
Absolutely.
spiteful
No
to Jack.
shout out there.
Fuck you, Jack.
absolutely.
No shout out there. Oh wait, Joe Ryan, IL.
I mean, Gavin
Williams still on the pitching side. So, but he already owned him. Or are we just down to your team?
I guess.
James Outman.
Yeah, you have to give credit to Outman and Kerry
been a-
Carpenter.
Oh my god! Yeah, that
That's
guy's
insane.
Jaron Durant.
And
Joel.
Piamps.
I do love Payamps, okay?
4-3.
He's position rank 5 with 65 strikeouts, a 1.88 ERA, and a .87 WHIP.
I remember when I picked him up. Minutes later, you were flaming me for why Joel Payamps was rostered in a 12-man league.
I stand by what I said.
Was Eflin a free agent pickup?
Before the season, he was, yes.
That actually
Might be the best pickup of anyone the entire season.
I think it was Adam and I. Adam picked up someone, and I panicked and saw that Eflin was on the Rays and unowned, so I picked up Eflin.
although Michael
Michael Waka. You absolutely nailed. We just went through the list. You might have all 5 of the top free agent pickups or just general acquisitions of the year.
with Payamp,
Eflin, Waka, JP France, so all on the pitching side, and then Jaron Durant or James Outman.
Do you want a crazy
Those
stat?
are like 6 out of the top 15.
Michael Waka has not allowed more than 2 runs in a game since April 26th.
he's been injured.
It's still 12 starts.
Johan Oviedo gets the dub.
Let's go.
I
He
have
missed 4 for 37.
4 stolen bases today.
Corbin Carroll.
Bobby Witt, Acuna, right?
Carroll, Acuna, Lindor.
Matt Olson. I
Hate the Braves. If we could delete the Braves from existence, Jack's team might be more like a wild card team, and
JD if he was
in our conference might also be a wild card team.
I might not win the division.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Albies and Acuna.
maybe instead of hating Jack, I should just hate the Braves. Let's just delete the Braves from baseball. They had such a good, long, sustained run of success. Why the hell are the baseball gods giving them another one of these?
Goodness, this sounds like a podcast for Perry to answer.
Perry. I hate
Notable
your
Braves fan Perry.
Perry, your franchise is the reason why our league is so toxic. I hope you know that.
And Perry has what, 2 Atlanta Braves. No, 3 Atlanta Braves. That's not enough, Perry. Come on, man.
Michael Harris.
Does he have Kyle Wright on IL?
Yep.
And then is he rostering Darno?
It's a season. That's your hint.
It's a season. Oh,
Spring, summer, fall, minter.
well, that was just not where my mind
was going, but okay.
Yeah, I
I was
was.
thinking spring, like Springer. I'm like, wait, he didn't get traded to the Braves.
Okay. And Mentor?
Yeah. So a relief pitcher, an injured starter.
That, I don't know how good
He's going to be in the future if he even has a rotation spot there.
Solid
And
outfielder.
He doesn't have Michael Harris.
what? That's ninth in that lineup because
That's
it's the
absurd.
fucking Braves.
That's absurd.
I
I hate his team. Yeah, I don't know if I hate the Braves more or Jack more.
Mm,
All right.
Would I
Well,
rather see
A Jack Championship and FTN or a Braves World Series?
I think I'd.
Jack, you're off the hook. I'd rather see a Jack Championship and FTN than a Braves World Series, I think.
I'll take the
That's-
Braves World Series. I don't care.
Ugh. Well, that's just because that means.
Means you win FTN.
Hopefully, yeah.
All right.
Well, it sounds like that'll do it for the pod, JD.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my dog out, but quality hour and 16 minutes here that we've done, and I think you're gonna cut out that one part that is unnecessary.
Most
Certainly not going through the work and effort of doing that. This is going straight to YouTube.
All right, man. Enjoy
The
the.
pool. Enjoy taking your dog out.
Yo,
Yeah.
hope the league enjoys this. Make sure to leave a comment on Drew's video below.
Make sure to stay on this.
This web page after this ends, so it finishes uploading your video to JD.
Perfect. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.